You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
May it please the court. Your Honor, the Federal Bank of the United States accuses defendant Myron Sopher of stealing money, specifically over $3,000, when they cashed an $11,000 check, which should have only been around $7,000.
Your Honor, the bank is wrong. See, when I originally cast the check, I thought it was more money as well. However, I reached out to a good friend of mine, Dr. Stevens, who corrected my blunder. See, I originally thought the money would earn $4,383 in interest as the first year and made $438.30. And so I simply multiplied that number by 10 to account for the 10 years. However, this gave me an incorrect number as my funds were in a continuous fixed rate CD.
Your Honor, the state motions a definition of a continuous fixed rate CD and an explanation of how that invalidates Mr. Sopher's previous calculations.
Your Honor, a continuous fixed rate CD means that all the money deposited earns collective interest, not just the initial. In this case, the first year, 12.68% of the initial deposit was taken, which is $438.3, and added to the principal. The next year, 12.68% of the $438.3 and the principal was taken, and then the next year was 12.68% of that whole, and so on for 10 years. And that's what led to the discrepancy in the money being more than I initially anticipated.
Your Honor, how did Myron Sopher come up with the 12.57% interest rate with only knowing what he got the first year and the 10th year?
Allow me to explain. See, Dr. Stevens pointed it out to me. So you get a continuous interest formula presented here in Exhibit A, and then you can see all the variables and what they represent. If you have any questions, I could figure out how to calculate using the information that I knew. Now, what did I know? I knew that after 1 year, I made $438.30. And this number was very important because in doing so, I was able to plug it into my initial formula as shown in Exhibit B, Part 1, and then I was able to use that with Dr. Stevens' help to solve for the principal in terms of R. Now, this was super great because now that I had that, I could plug that into the 10-year equation I made and form a graph. And here, in case you want to see for the knowledge of the court, is the amount earned after 10 years without anything plugged in, and then here where I substituted the number in for P. Now, with all that out of the way, we're almost done. Here is the graph that this wonderful app called Desmos made for me using the equation that I plugged in, and here is the x-intercepts. Now these two values are the interest rates. And you may be thinking, well, how can there be two interest rates in a fixed rate CD? Well, see, using these two interest rates, I plugged them into the original formula we generated earlier in Exhibit B, Part 2. The P is equal to 438.3 over R, and I was able to solve for the principal. The one principal gave me a number that was higher than $4,383. And you may be thinking, well, why does that matter? Well, see, in my brain, I did store one piece of information, critical information, that my initial calculations, which is that Philomena earned $4,383, was more than I was getting. So when the number came up with a 9% interest formula was greater than that, I knew that it was extraneous. So I knew that the other answer, which I plugged it in and it worked out, worked. So that's how I came up with the 12.68% interest.
The bank is baffled. It drops its case with only one request. It asks what Myron Sopher wishes to do with the money.
Good question. Well, I get to keep the principal, which, using the interest rate of 12.68% in the equation that we solve for P, would be equal to $3,456.62. And then, using our total amount, minusing it by the found principal, we can find the amount that I have to give to my dear beloved Philomena, which was the money earned over the interest, which, for the information of the court, is $7,949.52 wonderful cents. Thank you, Your Honor.